even now, stand the thing happen for here. 3 people they can't die. Many people die in hospital. I need thing for their government make it help us because there are not anything. Even the people they don't have any work for this area, and just the thing will happen. We need security. Make you come to help us. Okay.
Now 5 people pie when 2 woman bombers them go attack for Maiduguri, where the capital of Borno State on Sunday. It not end for there as up to 10 people too don't pie for inside the Gbege where they shell between the Tiv people and the Jonkun people for inside Taraba. According by waiting the information minister of the National Emergency Management Agency for the state, Abdulkader Ibrahim talk, now just 5 minutes then use release the bomb wake by the 2 women we carry the bomb plus 3 extra people. And now like 41 people wunjo for inside the matter. Meanwhile, the chairman of Wukari local government area of Taraba State, Oga Daniel Adi, on Sunday confirmed saying that 10 people don't pie because of the gbege between the Tiv and Jonkun people. Former All Progressives Congress governorship aspirant, where they come from that area, Chief David Kente, don't condemn the badness where them they do people life and property. In beg them make them hug peace and unity, make them leave matter for Matthias. Earlier on, we follow members of the Red Cross Society of Nigeria yarn about the increasing cases of kidnapping for inside we state and our preparedness for when the emergency, when it day consign. Make una watch this one.
The first question be said and saying last year they kidnapped some of our staff when be Safura Hussaini and Ahmed Kosa, and they go buy them on top of the matter and be say a day grant. So the team be say how una take they treat this matter when be say a day grant. So and I take they cope with this kind of wahala when be say a day on a walk.
Yeah. Good afternoon again. Yeah. The matter we happened last year. It really pain us because as everybody be human life, it is very, very important. Yes. And person way they can't save human life again, maybe you can't enter that kind of big, be smart. So we try. Eventually we even come appeal say may they allow us leave these people unconditionally. Yeah. But it's not gonna happen. Now they can't buy them. So since they buy them, it affects some things. But now we they try to do more sensitization because now how they talk and say na person we no know house go use left hand point to Papa house. That's so true. We don't try to do some things in between, do some kind of sensitization under what they call healthcare in danger. Yeah. Healthcare in danger they help protect people, not just nurses but all the doctor people where they provide life-saving assistance, even first aiders too. Yeah. So we they try increase the knowledge. Say people where they do all these health things now, it better make people know they injure them. Maybe they know they do things like maybe they break into hospital, they carry drugs, they harm them. Even if they see them for road, they go somewhere. Maybe they allow them they pass because maybe every time person carry ambulance, you go stop ambulance, allow them to go. So we don't do all these things, do some sensitization, and soon people go see greater attention on these things. But they try and increase knowledge of everybody where they get affected by healthcare personnel positively, so that at least this kind of thing no go happen ever again. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. As the thing can be, the way where kidnapping they happen, when they catch people anyhow. Especially for us, for Red Cross, say where somebody they work, good say you won't go separate fight. You can't go they carry blood for head. They come out sake of say they break your head. So we go just appeal, say all of us now brothers, make we know how we go take the relate. Say all of us when we know they find trouble, at least make we just they relate like brothers and sisters where we be. Okay. All right, because of time, I go ask on this question. This one, they say, how not they bring together these people when they say they get issue, maybe during war, they can't lose their family member, they don't see them again. How not they do to bring them together? Because they say that they work well on a really carry for hand with that.
Now one of our core areas with that, the work pool they do plenty, but the restoring family links what they do be say if war day or fight day, where we say family can lose maybe one member, then if you see him he lost. we they help them through with the support of the Nigerian Red Cross Society. We they maintain contact. If maybe Peking lost now, if it tell us, okay, fine, where you come from, who you deal with, you sabi family member number, we go help them through phone call. They go call. From there, we go come, they bring them together, small, until we do it, they call reunification. But make I love my bros here, make it even add to her, because National Society too, they work well with us for this kind of matter.
As to the question how we take the do so what do we do? We say where somebody don't come call us or send us message say CEO are they look for my person a loss because of this or that at that time. So we will constant our men or our staff, our volunteers to go see what thing they happen, where the thing they do. So get what they call the cross message. If you send the message come, we go come touch light so see where the person there. I mean maybe if not for during crisis or war, you get camps where people they go. So we get go no children or adult where to go the find out from the place. Okay, now you know this kind of person. We will talk with the community leaders. We will talk with everybody where they involved. So we will come bring them together.
We're going to need to buy a small break. When we come back, now African Story, we go Sama give you. Ugandan security forces don't successfully rescue American tourist Kimberly Sue Endicott, who be 35 years old, and her Ugandan driver Jean-Paul, after they then kidnapped them at gunpoint last week. Now on April 2, they kidnapped them inside the famous Queen Elizabeth National Park, way near the border with the director. Now joint operation by the police and the army and the Ugandan Wildlife Authority, now then use rescue these people. According by the Ugandan Tourism Board and police, the kidnappers where them done reports say then they 4 in number be done demand $500,000 as ransom for their release. Queen Elizabeth National Park now one of the most visited parks for inside the East African country, where plenty visitors they like to go see animals like lion, hippopotamus, crocodile and various types of antelope. They also carry the Madame Endicott go the American embassy where they for inside Kampala.
The victim who had been held captive together with her safari guide, Jean-Paul Mirenge, were released because, first of all, of the implicit threat of the use of force after the armed captors knew they were being hotly pursued by the joint team of security agencies. And at this stage, I would like to inform you that the operation is still ongoing with the help of our counterparts from the DRC. The operation to arrest the culprits is ongoing with the close coordination of our counterparts from the DRC, whom we've been working with for the last 5 days. And we also want to reassure all our citizens and visitors that their safety and security is our #1 priority. There was an implicit threat of the use of force by our allied teams that we had on the ground. So if there are any other arrangements of ransom, maybe with the family or the camp manager, that is something we let you to explore. But as the police and the government of Uganda, we don't do ransom, and we can never encourage that.
Coming up next, now our foreign story. Madam at the top, British Prime Minister Theresa May go Brussels on Wednesday to meet leaders of the other 27 European Union member states with hopes that they go fit win a second delay to Britain departure date. Madam Theresa talks say when she read Brussels on Wednesday, she go find short extension to Article 50, the measure will signal Britain intention to come out the EU with June 30 will be their target date. Donald Tusk, will be the European Council President, they offer the UK a 12-month flexible extension. In go table this one for the front of the EU leaders for inside Wednesday's summit. What it mean be say if them no agree on top Madam Theresa beg for another Brexit extension, the UK go gas come out the EU without any deal on Friday.
You can't go into any of those discussions with big red lines, because otherwise there's no point having them. But we are very clear about the type of Brexit that we want. That's in our manifesto, and we've made that clear. So what I think I'll be saying to my colleagues in the European Union today is that you can see from this that Theresa May is leaving no stone unturned to try and resolve Brexit. They want Brexit to be resolved as quickly as possible. So do we, so do the British people, so do MPs, and so we are doing absolutely everything we can to try and get a resolution to get Brexit over the line.
Die Briten haben aus einem Deal ein No-Deal gemacht. Und jetzt wollen sie wieder aus dem No-Deal ein Deal machen. Das ist wie mit der Zahnpasta. Man bekommt sie sehr einfach aus der Tube raus, aber nicht mehr drin. Aber wir helfen. Wir machen unser Bestes. Also es hat wirklich keinen Sinn, jeden Tag zu kommentieren.
We should do our best in order to find a solution. If there is a need for an extension of the period, from our part as presidency of the Council, we'll prepare all the necessary logistics for continuing the discussions on Brexit.
I think, of course, that if that is needed, it should be granted. But of course, my sincere hope is that Brexit can be sorted out in the orderly manner. I think that the British people have had their say, and I think it's our joint interest to deliver.
Coming up next, now our business story. Four states of the Federation, Lagos, Edo, Kaduna, and Cross River, they top the list of the subnational governments where they owe Oyibo people. Statistics don't show say all the four states joined together, they owe about $2.12 billion out of the $4.23 billion where they hold 36 states of Oyobodo, plus the Federal Capital Territory Administration they owe as of December 31, 2018. Number one for the list na Lagos State, as in they owe $1.43 billion, where represent 33.81% of the foreign subnational debt portfolio. Edo State carries second with debt of $276.25 million, where they represent 6.53% of the subnational foreign debt portfolio. Kaduna State carried third with debt of $227.25 million, where represents 5.37% of the country's subnational foreign debt as of December 31, 2018. Cross River State na number 4 for the debtor list with portfolio of $188.77 million, where represents 4.46% of the subnational foreign debt portfolio. Other top debtors for the Oyibo debt category include Bauchi, where get $133.93 million, Enugu, where get $126.18 million, Anambra, and that one then gets $107.04 million, Ekiti gets $106.21 million, Oyo State gets $105 million, Ogun State gets $103.26 million, Osun State gets $99.08 million, Abia State gets $98.58 million, and Adamawa no carry last as them get $97.79 million. Coming up next, now Tori for Inside Entertainment. Plus TV Africa, they present for the recent premiere of the movie Fourth Republic, which shall on Sunday, April 7, 2019, for the IMAX Cinema, Lekki. Fourth Republic na political thriller where concern female politician during an electoral period and the administration of the government where she formed. We follow some celebrities yarn whether them get belief, say Nigeria done ready for female president. This now waiting them talk. Onto sports matter, boxing legend Manny Pacquiao don't sign new deal with Japanese mixed martial arts organization Rizin. Pacquiao don't they follow the footsteps of a retired rival Floyd Mayweather, where also signed to the same company. Reason na the mixed martial arts organization wey organize Mayweather exhibition fight with Japanese kickboxer Tenshin Nasukawa for Tokyo on the 31st of December 2018. Wrestling superstar Batista don confirm in retirement from the World Wrestling Entertainment WWE after weighing lose to Triple H for WrestleMania. Batista, wey people they call the Animal, lose giving former partner for match wey be say to say Triple H lose am in for gas retire. Batista na him act as Drax for inside the blockbuster movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Una do well, that na the join tori where we get on top this o'clock. For more better information, go follow us for Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And it go make sense if you subscribe for our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We go still jam later with more tori where they do background for inside Obodo Naija and Obodo World. No forget to join us. My name na Betiana Unweli. Make una enjoy una day.
You're watching Africa on the Move in partnership with DW. I am Fumi Onwajefe. Today, we'll be focusing on activism across the continent. Not satisfied with certain issues and, of course, with ineffective leaders who aren't dealing with the crisis on the continent, a lot of people are coming together to find their own solutions and raise awareness. We start in Rwanda, where Freddie and Kayla have started Media for the Deaf. Let's find out what that's about.
Freddie Rangira and Kalia Uwedegije have been campaigning for media inclusion of the deaf since 2014. According to the latest census, there are more than 30,000 people with hearing disorders in Rwanda. Yet few in the broader public are aware of the challenges that come with deafness.
The deaf community is among us the marginalized into even the disability movement. They are the one who are more marginalized than others.
The idea to launch Media for the Deaf came from a research project on how the media serves disabled people. The findings were alarming. With only one news program available in sign language, deaf people in Rwanda have extremely limited access to information.
After the recommendation I got, I said, what is my contribution or my solution to that problem that they are facing as someone who studied journalism and communication.
Today, the media team is preparing for the next video shoot for their #SignYourName campaign. Diane Gashumba, the Minister of Gender and Family Promotion, has agreed to participate. The two activists were inspired by the success of the recent Ice Bucket Challenge on social media.
I thought it would be easy, but it was difficult. But I was supported and it was good. It was a good experience.
The minister also promised further support for the team and their initiative down the track. 48 celebrities have already taken part, among them local artists, athletes and actors.
nshobora kuganira mu rurimi rw'amarenga. Ese kuki wowe utagerageza? Murakoze.
The group recently won a Young Rwandan Achievers Award for their efforts. Freddie is proud that all their work and commitment has been recognised.
And this is Keria in between receiving the award. On the left, it's the First Lady of Rwanda, Madame Jeannette Kagame, and Honorable Minister of Youth and ICT. This came at the right moment because it gave us the spirit of going on doing more of the advocacy work we are doing.
Media for the Deaf also plans to offer sign language workshops for journalists, as well as media training for deaf people. A difficult task because the young organisation is still struggling financially. So far, the 9 board members have had to pay all expenses out of their own pockets. But their success proves that good ideas don't need much to grow.
We challenge you.
Half of the African population lives in poverty. These people do not have access to basic human needs such as nutrition, clean water, shelter, and more. 47% of the African population is living on $1.90 or less, and 2 in 5 Africans are illiterate. Now let's bring that to perspective. In Kenya, poverty is the leading cause of teenage mothers, particularly from the ages of 14 to 16. Now, one young woman has started an interreligious school to encourage young girls who think that their education and in turn their lives are over because they became pregnant.
Every week, Mariam Masih visits this public school in Malindi. She doesn't want the school to be named. This is part of her program's strategy to protect the girls, Mariam says. The Kenyan Coast Interfaith Council of Clerics reintegrates teenage mothers into school. The teachers try to support these young girls aged between 14 and 16. They come from different religions, mainly Catholic and Muslim. This interreligious approach is of great importance to the different leaders in the Interfaith Council.
These interfaith clerics also, they have a common meeting where they all discuss, they sit down to discuss the issues of children, because when problems comes, they will not face a particular religion. They face each and every child from whichever religion that is.
Poverty is the main problem in this region. Young girls get lured by men offering to buy them simple items like sanitary towels. They get abused and become pregnant.
The parents would ask, if she goes back to school, who will take care of their children? And we were able to talk to these parents and show sense to them that these are still children and they need to be given an opportunity.
This argument finally convinced Pili Ramadhan to also let her daughter participate in the project. Her daughter is with the green scarf and didn't want to be filmed or named. We shall call her Shumi. Shumi is only 16, but already has a 1.5-year-old child. I was pregnant when I was still in school, and after I gave birth, I decided to go back to school and learn, because life will be difficult. For her mother, Pili Ramadhan, having another child to feed was a shock. She's unemployed and still doesn't know how to make ends meet. The 55-year-old widow also supports the 2 children of her son. When I learned about the pregnancy of my daughter, I was so sad and bitter that I was beating her all the time. My neighbors told me that beating is not the solution, and it's not the end of learning. Mariam Masih visits one of the girls who has landed on her feet despite her early pregnancy. Sylvia Jumwa has a small tailoring shop. Her first child died when she was 16. For Mariam, she's a great example for the other girls.
We are trying to build that social cohesion where people can coexist together peacefully, despite the fact that they come from different backgrounds, different ethnic groups and different religions.
Jumwa took up a microcredit, which she is now able to pay back. She even employs 2 young seamstresses. For Masih, teaching the young women to provide for themselves may be the answer to their problems, and they no longer have to accept the dubious offers of the men.
From pregnant school children to street children, Isaac Peter is trying in his own little way to take children off the streets.
Victor Brown's stage name is T1. He's a breakdancer in Monrovia's Paynesville neighborhood. Thanks to the help of Isaac Peters, T1 is now about to go to school. I was always trying to find a way to go to school, and luckily I met him. He told me he could help me start school, and he encouraged me with my dancing. He said I should dance at school to motivate my friends outside who are not educated to attend school. Isaac Peters set up this high school after Liberia's civil war to educate street children. But he's been struggling to keep the school up and running. Financial problems mean it's hard to maintain the buildings. There are about 20 teachers for nearly 2,000 children, but only half of the pupils pay fees. Others, like Victor, rely on Isaac's scholarship program, co-financed by the other children. Isaac Peters spent part of his own childhood on the streets.
Living the streets as a child at a time enabled me to secure a good future. And securing a good future is one thing, but it's also helped me to impact the lives of other people. And the street life also gave me an idea on how it looked like to be out there sleeping on the market tables.
After classes, Isaac often heads to the local cemetery where his runaway son Cyrus hangs out.
I feel that I'm obligated to him to transform his life from the grave to someone who will make a difference in life.
Cyrus used to live with Isaac, but then he started stealing and turned violent.
The passion that I have to help many of our children, especially war-affected children and children from the ghetto, I go into the graveyard and take these children from there.
Isaac couldn't find Cyrus today, so he talks to the other boys.
If you want to become a mechanic, we can strike the deal. If you want to become a carpenter, we can strike the deal. If you want to become a plumber, we can strike the deal. Let's meet.
At night, Monrovia is a vibrant city. It's the first time in a long time that Isaac Peters has been able to check out some of the city's clubs. Victor Brown, aka T1, is performing tonight at a dance club where many of Monrovia's street kids go to blow off steam. Some also come here to convince other people to join Isaac Peters High School. But for now, Isaac insists T1 should just concentrate on entertaining his fans.
Our next activist is a journalist who is fighting for albinos in Tanzania. Let's watch Henry Adimu's story.
It's breakfast time at Henry Mdimu's house in Dar es Salaam. Albinism, the absence of melanin in his skin, is not an issue here at home. But that's not the case elsewhere in Tanzania, where people with albinism are frequently maimed and even killed. Henry Mdimu is a journalist who helps shed light on such crimes. He likes to engage with people, even if his life isn't always easy.
You won't get anywhere if you complicate everything in your life. You have to accept things.
Accept things.
Accept the way you are, and then move on.
Many people in East Africa believe that albinos are ghosts. To change that attitude, Henry Mdimu regularly talks to people without albinism. He then publishes the interviews in his newspaper and on his blog.
If you see a person like me, an albino, walking down the street, what comes to mind?
Some people see albinos as a way of making money. But to me, you are like any other human being.
For over a decade, Under the Same Sun has been fighting for the rights of albinos in Tanzania. The NGO helps those who have been brutally attacked by people who believe albino body parts can bring wealth and good luck. On the black market, a limb of a person with albinism can fetch $5,000, an entire body hundreds of thousands. Mariam Stamford is one such victim. Sometimes I have nightmares about people cutting off my hands. But I thank God that these kinds of nightmares happen so rarely now. Her assailants have never been prosecuted. Crimes against people with albinism are often not fully investigated. That's why Henry Umdimu is working to increase awareness, one person at a time.
I'm trying to convince people to change their minds and be heroes in their societies.
Change their mindset, being the heroes in society.
Henry Umdimu's work is far from over. But one day he hopes to live in a Tanzania where people with albinism can live their lives like any other human being.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. It's not just a buzzword in Africa, it's the reality we live in, and it affects all spheres of our lives. Jonathan Idoma in Liberia is speaking against corruption in the education sector.
.00 in the morning in Liberia's capital, Monrovia. Jonathan Doma is a guest on the live show Radio Maria. He reports about the latest incidents of corruption in the education system. The 28-year-old works for the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. Today he speaks about corruption in schools, about teachers putting money intended for books into their own pockets. The radio show is an important platform for the activist.
It is important because the public depends on us a lot. There's a lot that is expected of our work by the public, so we always try our best to share the result of our works, our findings, our research, the findings of our research to the public.
Tell us about some of those things that you are currently working on.
There's a lot of interest in the show. Every day, more and more people talk about corruption in government institutions and in politics. Despite some initial progress, Liberia recently fell in the world's Corruption Perception Index.
We are the common people who will benefit from the resources that this country has. For all the resources that the country has, we cannot see it because of the corruption.
Corruption is a very, very serious problem in our country. Very serious to the extent that every part of Liberia is being affected by corruption, the public sector and the private sector.
Jonathan Doma and his colleagues at Central would be fighting a losing battle were it not for their dedicated volunteers. Their problem, when they cover a case of corruption, it doesn't mean that the offender will be punished. The activists aren't giving up, though. In fact, they're starting to see results. Here at the University of Liberia, students are staging a protest against rising tuition rates. They're upset about a lack of transparency. Jonathan will meet with the University Council to clarify some important points.
What will be done with the money that is expected to come from the students? What improvements we expect to see? For example, the institution lacks a functional library. They don't have computer labs. They are talking about internet on campuses. None of them are actually happening here right now.
After a week-long standoff success, the president of the country rules for the status quo to be maintained. There will be no raise of tuition fees for now. More importantly, though, it's a good sign for Liberia, says Jonathan Doma, that more and more young people are stepping up to ask difficult questions.
Radio is intimate, it's direct, it's human, and that's why our next activist is using the medium to push his cause.
These are now victims of a terror drill. Okay. Remember, the word terror comes before the drill. So in the drill, all the way to the government, how is a different radio that is not Mr. Know-It-All, whereby the hosts are assumed knowledgeable and knows. I want to create a radio that can also learn from people.
Na Ghetto Radio 89.5.
Unajua huko hata nishapata mrembo. Nataka kupanda mbegu huko Kataka. Haru Ghetto Radio. Pirokti na kukua na skupoa.
Ikakuja paka hapa.
ule nilikujanga hapa, nikakuja nikafanyiwa interview. Kufanyiwa interview sasa, siku ingia mara hiyo siku kuwa presenter hiyo siku. Nikaenda nikamaliza wiki kama moja kwa street. Sonko wetu maji akanitumania. Na wanyosh. Vipi? Yani sawa. Base. Poa. Kanyumba karia twakoma no uyu na ni okite ngamuhe kiraro ka ngui. Aria twendaga kunyitirwo nawe. Ghetto Radio tu nilikuwa tu naisikianga hivyo, saa zingine nilikuwa tu nafungulia Ghetto Radio nasikia marege nikiwa mtaani. Unajua masafara wengi wanapenda Ghetto Radio juu wakati uko pale mtaani ukiweka Ghetto Radio unasikia po ukisikia rege hata kama huna kaki. Paka hivyo. Kama kazi inakuwa kabisa. Kwa vipi tu.
The experiences you could talk of are unheard of, unwritten stories are unheard of. The real experience. Yes, you know somebody is a street boy, so probably most people know the worst you know is Gulu na kulala nje. The beat everyone will know generally. But now when you start to talk, you'll find a lot of issues going on there. But those issues were unbroadcasted.
So what will you be fighting and pushing for this week in your own sphere? And to quote the words of Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. That's all on Africa on the Move this week. See you again really soon. Bye.
Hi guys, this is Toby Bakre. I'm on Plus TV Africa and I'm going to be answering some of your questions. 5 fitness tips for you guys. First of all, drink lots of water. Second of all, don't eat later than 7, 8 p.m. Stay active throughout your whole day. Instead of taking the elevator, sometimes take the stairs. Stay active. Enroll in the gym. Be it yoga, be it weights, be it cardio, just, you know, something extra just to keep your body in shape. And the last one, mind your business. Am I dating anyone? At the time, very single. As in, what's another word for single? I'm like single Pringle. What are my future plans? I plan to do more in acting, more in hosting, do a lot of creative projects, work with a lot of brands, and start my own business. Will I ever do music seriously? I'm just always going to play with it for now. I did a collaboration with Spyro, a song called Japa, and it's a tune. So maybe I'm going to go back and play again sometime. And then it depends on the feedback. If I'm getting feedback like, oh, okay, maybe they're playing my songs in the club and stuff like that, maybe I can say, okay, maybe I'll be a performing artist, get someone to write the song, then just go to the studio and do it. You know, maybe. Never say never. Who is my favorite Nollywood actress and why? Okay, I think I'm going to give 2 answers, or 3 answers. First of all, the first lady, Genevieve, and that's because she's so good at what she does and she's very professional. And she's a pioneer. She's kind of taking this whole thing to the next level, so yeah. And then for the newer guys, Eferele and Ini, I combined the two. I just like them. I like their movies too. That's all. My daily routine and what makes Toby Bakre Toby Bakre. You see, I wake up in the morning. First of all, I pray. When you're thankful for the little things, I mean, just wake up with a heart of gratitude, like thank God for life, for the little things. And then after that, I play some music, get into the day already, like fast bumping music. So I'm getting into the shower, I'm already moving, plan out my day, do some exercise. And so when I step out of the house, man, I'm already, the vibe is up there. So nothing can bring me down for the day. So going like that, and it's almost gonna be a good day. Like you see, right now I just have like great vibes. In my head, I'm still playing the song I woke up to. It's all good. All right, thank you very much, guys. Signing out.
Politics has helped shape the decision of the polity, from conspiracy theories to good old-fashioned comic politics.
These are the results of tomorrow's election. Okay, you have it already, Abi?
I think we've done very well in the very difficult circumstances in which we took over governance.
Plus, politics will fill the polls of the country, from friends to frenemies, even strange bedfellows, to clones and stooges. We go beyond the rhetorics and the drama to analyze the story behind the story.
Let anybody come and say!
The perception in itself does more harm than actual corruption that you have.
Plus politics, not just another political show. It's about putting you, the citizens, in the know.
Goal 10 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals speaks largely about eliminating inequality amongst countries and peoples. The United Nations clearly recognizes that businesses can also exacerbate inequality by being complicit in perpetrating biases and discrimination. The question, however, is, how exactly does this resonate with Nigeria? Lagos is the most populous city in Nigeria and has millions of persons. Among these are little persons also, often found in Osborn in Ikoyi. They are trying to make a living as they grapple with inequality and discrimination because of their physical appearances. Wisdom Abba and his wife Joanne are one of the little persons who moved from other parts of the country into Lagos to make a living by getting employed despite their physical inadequacies. They say that in Lagos, they had hoped to win the battle against discrimination, but this fight, however, seems to be a lost one as they are constantly marginalized by some employers while hunting for jobs.
Sometimes somebody will promise me at where I'm selling market, just with drive car, we say we find work for me. I will pull up other person. At last, the person will not find a job because promise me, many of them.
When I want to look for a job, they say they can't give me a job, that I'm too short, that I should go.
This couple is not the only little person seeking an end to discrimination in job hunting. Nkubi and Shapali are celebrity broadcasters. They too say that they have had a painful taste of societal rejection.
I got called up for an interview. One of the management now walked up to me and told me that, look, I am sincerely very sorry. You are not the kind of person we are looking for.
My sister, growing up, to be like, Daddy, where do you get this thing from?
Though Shapali comes across as a very confident woman, she says growing up was torturous.
I'm talking to you, I don't know my mom until now. She ran away because I am a dwarf.
She adds that her self-esteem was dealt a devastating blow for even thinking of marrying a tall man and begetting tall offspring, as her mother-in-law rejected her.
I had a relationship that the guy, took me home to the mom. And I was there in their living room, seated, and the guy went to call the mom. The mom came and was like, where? Sorry, oh my dear, sorry. Where is the wife? My son said he brought. And I was like, it's me. I was like, stop joking now. How will it be you? My son came up to come that he brought somebody. You know, I was not accepted.
Bash and Iyatokpe are 9 to 5 persons. They reveal that they have also been treated with inequality countless times.
My own junior brother, the one that follows me, he also thought I'm kind of like a junior to him. We usually fight every day.
I go one place. I say, then they find person will go sweep here. They say not true. I say I won't do it. You do it. Which hand do you want to take sweep here?
With only 12 years left to expunge inequality by 2030, only little is known if Nigeria will truly wipe out this menace. But Wisdom and his wife Joanne, Nkubi, Shapali, Bash and Iyatokpe continue to hope that someday they will be treated like every other human being. I am Mary Chinda for Plus TV Africa.
Hello there and many thanks for joining us on the news on the hour on Plus TV Africa. Here are the stories making the headlines. I am Mary Ann Okon. There was panic on Monday afternoon as fire broke out at the arrival section of Sam Bakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri, Imo State. The cause of the fire, or the inferno, was not immediately ascertained, but a source at the airport said there was an ongoing renovation at the arrival section, which was affected. Our correspondents gathered that the inferno, which raged for 50 minutes, started at around 2:10 p.m. It took combined efforts of men of the fire service at the airport and the airport workers to put the fire out. Delivering a speech at the 2019 annual investment meeting in Dubai, President Muhammadu Buhari has called on world leaders to come up with proposals to create a digital world that is accessible, inclusive and safe for all. According to a statement by the president's spokesperson, Femi Adesina, in Abuja, President Buhari said a certain level of regulation was needed to preserve the integrity of the digital economy. The theme of the summit is mapping the future of foreign direct investment, enriching the world economies through digital globalization.
In governance, we are also working on digital platforms.
The Supreme Court, led by Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Mohammed, has struck out the suit filed by Senator Magnus Abe on primaries of the All Progressive Congress APC in Rivers State. In a unanimous judgment read on Monday, the Apex Court dismissed the application on the grounds that it lacked merit. The court also noted that the suit is incompetent and a gross violation of Order 2, Rule 8 of the Supreme Court rules. The motion, dated March 1, 2019, predicated on 8 grounds and an affidavit of urgency, among which the matter being pre-election suit must by law be determined within 60 days. Senator Abe, who is a factional leader of the APC in the state, wants the court to make final pronouncement on the legality of both direct and indirect primary polls conducted by the two factions in the party in 2018. Following the governorship elections in the state, the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Gombe State has received 3 petitions on Monday at the inaugural session in Gombe, the capital of the state. Those who filed the petitions of the tribunal are Adamu Juna Dudo, Mohammed Ibrahim and Aliyu Adamu. Listed as the first respondent in all 3 petitions is the governor-elect of the state and candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in the election, Mohammed Yahaya. The petitions were 3 ex parte motions seeking court's leave to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to allow the petitioners to access, physically inspect all materials used in the election and to have certified true copies of the documents. The tribunal is sitting barely 1 month after INEC declared the APC candidate as the winner of March 9 governorship elections in Gombe. The National Women Trust Fund, NWTF, has criticized the low participation of women in Nigeria's political process. The NWTF, while appraising the performance of female candidates in the just concluded general elections, say available data shows women participation in the recent polls were poor, a similar reflection of their presence in the current government. The fund is calling for more inclusion of women in Nigeria's governance process.
We all know we have very brilliant, intelligent and women that are Nigerians who are already doing very well globally. So it's becoming a thing of a shame to us as a nation that we have women who thrive so well, successfully outside of Nigeria, but they are not there in Nigeria as strategic contributors to the governance process because they are not put in the front burner of national development. I hope that the entire process will put a spotlight on the fact that women are not very well represented in Nigeria's governance process, whether as appointed representatives or as elected representatives, and that something needs to be done. There must be a political will and deliberate effort to ensure that women are put in strategic positions.
No, I think we cannot say because the climate is not favorable that women should sit back and not partake. I feel it is our right to take part in the political activities in the country. For all those who are responsible for one thing or the other, I mean the institutions, INEC, police, political parties, everybody must take whatever is their own, responsibility and take it very seriously, to be able to ensure that the interests of women are protected. Most of these women who even come out, it's because they have the courage and they feel that they're equal to the task. So unless things begin to change, where you have more women, because like a national working committee of any party, you find just one woman, what argument is she going to put forward for women? Nobody will support her. So it starts from there.
All right, we're being joined live in the studio by a legal practitioner, and also she is someone who's interested in politics, Helen Obiageli Oshikoya. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio, Helen.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you saw what the women were saying. Women are not being carried along. There's not enough participation of women in government, and it's also a reflection on Mr. President's appointments, and they're also looking forward to what's going to happen as he's getting ready to pick his new cabinet. But I always ask this question, and not because I'm anti-feminist or anything, but the women keep asking for equal rights. We want to be given justice and fairness. Why are you asking for the men to give you space to step into? Why don't you take your place? If you think that you're equal, why are you not taking your place? Do you have to does somebody have to hold your hand to get in there?
Well, the challenge that most women have is that we're to a large extent we're dependent on another. So basically our resources, our pot of resources might be linked to another person, and our ability to actually deliver what we're saying is also connected to another person. So most women that can take on those roles would be married. So you have to have a very supportive husband, one, and you have to be very, very financially buoyant in your own capacity, because of course you can't use other people's money. So the way our system is structured, it makes it difficult for you to come out as an independent on your own and take that take that cup, so to speak, because there's so many other factors that are preventing you from doing it. Nigerian politics is totally male dominated, so you have to really be a man, so to speak, to actually do that. And then we also have the critic women who sit down and criticize. Oh, she's doing politics. Isn't she supposed to be at home attending to her husband? So women who really want to do so much tend to battle on a lot of fronts. So
what I'm getting is society is a blockade of sorts.
It's a barrier.
The value systems that we have can also play a role.
Yes, it's a big barrier.
But let's look at women supporting women, and this is also an argument I make all the time. Women are saying, oh, we need women empowerment. How many women line up behind other women, lift up the hands of women, support women financially and otherwise? what we see is women tearing other women down. So how are we ever going to get to that point where women really can take their place? Look at what happened in America, the US. Early this year, a lot of women were sworn into, the Congress. Yes. It's the largest number of women ever in the history of America. And that's because they have decided to stand by one another. Do we do that in this part of the world?
The unfortunate thing is that we do not. And even with small businesses that you partner with other women, you tend to find out that, you can't, it's not sustainable. I was in a conference 2 years ago, an African conference, and I was the only person in my stall. All the other stalls, there were 2 women or 3 women or a man and a woman. They were supportive of each other. But here I find out that it's not always the case, because one, it's about competition. Competition goes beyond the normal good, he's a jolly good fellow. It goes that it's mine and it's mine to keep. If we had the sharing spirit, so to speak, we would see that kind of supportiveness. But then I also do know that a lot of women who are actually there in the politics and who have taken the bull by the horn, they do have male support and not so much female support.
And so how do we intend to grow as women? How do we intend to, because the truth is, if you're asking Mr. President to give us more percentage, I've been hearing about this 35%, so let's make it 50 now. It's his prerogative. It still boils down to what he decides, talking about the appointment. But the women who also get into these political spaces, it is still the prerogative of your husband to let you go for those late night meetings.
Exactly. And I also look at religious factors as well. Christianity and Islam have two different ideologies about where women should be and where they should not be. And I'm very, very sure that even within the presidential cabinet, he's actually forced to bring in these women. But then, culturally, those surrounding him might be like, don't bring it too much, we don't need that many much. So I think for even him himself, making a decision of bringing in more women than he plans or his party plans, it's a very big decision for him. So it's something that eventually, as we grow as an economy or as we grow as a nation, we will obviously be, more women would, come out and be available. I think it's not so much that we are not taking, charge. It's how many of us are making ourselves available to take on those roles. So, I mean, even within the legal practice, the legal practice now, you find out that a lot of women who could actually businesses so that their own businesses will grow.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, what level of awareness is out there for women to participate, women participation, whether in leadership roles, in fighting for whatever it is, whether it's violence against women, whether it's politics, whether it's mental health, whatever it is, how much information is out there? Are women talking to women so that they could come out of their cocoons?
Well, the thing about it is that what I realized is that women tend to thrive on people that tell them lies. So if you go to a service provider and they tell you, if you're looking for something, so to speak, and somebody tells you a lie that it's going to happen within a certain time, the tendency is that your loyalty will be there. But when you have people who tell other women the truth, the tendency is that they don't accept what you're saying, and you end up being in the same position you are in when you started. I think, for me personally, I do appreciate counsel of women, I do appreciate counsel of other females, but I'm also careful and wary of how much counsel I take, because I've come to realize that not everybody has good intentions, and you have to have a means of determining how you take information in. So I feel that as a woman, your source of strength still has to be within your Christian, well, I won't say Christian, so to speak, your religious setting, whether be it Islamic or whether be it Christian, because that's where you're going to be able to make better decisions about what you want to do, especially in the wider community. And I do hope that there is an opportunity for more women to get involved. You know, I can say for myself, there are key ministerial positions that I would like to take up, but I do know that it's going to no, I do know it's a battle because there are so many other factors that, and I'm very, very sure there are many women who have the same opinion as I do, but we cannot express it for fear of the fact that you know, if we do, what's going to happen? So I think it's a total package, and I'm hoping more women to come out.
Okay, thank you very much, Helen Obiageli Oshikoya, legal practitioner, for speaking with us.
Thank you.
All right, moving on the news, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, more news. Stay with us. Survivors of the Muna Dalti explosion in Maiduguri have called on the federal government to help improve security within the state. The explosion at the Muna Dalti settlement, which was caused by two women belonging to Boko Haram terrorist group bearing persons-borne improved explosive devices, saw 5 people lose their lives, including the terrorist, and another 41 sustaining various degrees of injuries. We, however, warn that the viewer's discretion is advised, as some might find these images that you're about to see very offensive.
After we are prayer, so we just sit down, see one woman she come, and the woman she come, we tell them, say, make she wait. The woman just stand it bomb, and many people they come die. We are living for here. There's no security. They're not even to bring security for this area. That thing, even like 3 months ago, that thing can't happen for here. Even now, the thing happen for here. 3 people, they can't die. Many people die in hospital. We need thing for their government, make it help us. Because there are not anything, even these people, they don't have enough work for this area, and just the thing will happen. We need security. Make it come to help us. Okay.
The Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has condemned the attack on Kakangi community following his visit to the scene of the incident. The governor described the attack as inhumane and ungodly, assuring residents of the government's commitment to restoring peace and security to the area and other troubled parts of the state. He was accompanied on the visit by some government officials and security heads. The governor also visited those that were injured during the attack at the hospital to commiserate with them over the unfortunate incident. 8 people, including 2 policemen, were on Saturday killed by armed bandits in an attack on the community. The bandits who invaded the village on a motorbike also razed houses and the community's market. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, more news from across Africa. The European Union's foreign policy chief Federica Mogherini called on Monday for a truce in Libya and a return to political negotiations as fighting intensified between rival factions. Mogherini, who also spoke to the UN Special Envoy to Libya, Ghassan Salame, early on Monday, said EU ministers were united on echoing the G7's call for Eastern Libyan military commander Khalifa Haftar to halt his advance on Tripoli. Haftar's Libyan National Army said on Friday its forces had moved into Tripoli's southern outskirts and have taken its former international airport, threatening the internationally recognized government based in the capital. The offensive by the LNA, which is allied to a parallel administration based in the main eastern city of Benghazi, intensifies a struggle of power that has fractured the oil-producing country since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, news from outside Africa. And on the foreign scene, European Union's chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier met with Irish Prime Minister Leo Varadkar in Dublin on Monday, April 8, as UK continues to seek a delay to the country's exit from the EU to prevent a disorderly Brexit on April 12. Following his meeting with Varadkar, Barnier told a news conference that he hoped cross-party crisis talks in London would produce a positive outcome to allow his team to move extremely quickly in agreeing more ambitious terms on a future relationship. UK Prime Minister Theresa May is due to travel to Paris and Berlin on Tuesday to press her request for a short delay before it is formally discussed by EU leaders at a special summit on Wednesday, April 10. British Foreign Minister Jeremy Hunt on Monday said the British government and the opposition Labour Party should avoid big red lines and in their discussions to resolve Brexit. Speaking before a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Luxembourg, Hunt said British Prime Minister Theresa May would leave no stone unturned in her bid to have a divorce deal passed by the Parliament before the date currently set for Brexit, which is April 12.
You can't go into any of those discussions with big red lines, because otherwise there's no point having them. But we are very clear about the type of Brexit that we want. That's in our manifesto, and we've made that clear. So what I think I'll be saying to my colleagues in the European Union today is that you can see from this that Theresa May is leaving no stone unturned to try and resolve Brexit. They want Brexit to be resolved as quickly as possible. So do we, so do the British people, so do MPs, and so we are doing absolutely everything we can to try and get a resolution to get Brexit over the line.
Die Briten haben aus einem Deal ein No-Deal gemacht. Und jetzt wollen sie wieder aus dem No-Deal ein Deal machen. Das ist wie mit der Zahnpasta. Man bekommt sie sehr einfach aus der Tube raus, aber nicht mehr drin. Aber wir helfen. Wir machen unser Bestes. Also es hat wirklich keinen Sinn, jeden Tag zu kommentieren.
We should do our best in order to find a solution. If there is a need for an extension of the period, from our part as presidency of the Council, we'll prepare all the necessary logistics for continuing the discussions on Brexit.
I think, of course, that if that is needed, it should be granted. But of course, my sincere hope is that Brexit can be sorted out in the orderly manner. I think that the British people have had their say, and I think it's our joint interest to deliver.
Up next is our business news. Stay with us. The federal government on Saturday signed a 186 million naira technical assistance agreement grant with the Islamic Development Bank Group in Marrakesh, Morocco. A finance ministry statement on Sunday by Finance Minister Zainab Ahmed signed on Nigeria's behalf, while the president of the ISDB Group, Bandar Haja, signed on behalf of the group. The deal was sealed at the 44th ISDB Group annual meeting in Marrakesh, Morocco, on the theme Transformation in a Fast-Changing World, the Road to SDGs. At the signing ceremony, the minister said that TA agreement grants would be used to address capacity building and equipment and logistics upgrade in the Hajj Commission, and also for the improvement of cotton, textile and garment value chain in the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. And still ahead on Plus TV Africa News is our roundup on entertainment and sports news. We'll be back in a moment.
Seek their dream. Throb with desire. Joy welled up in their hearts. brand new life adventure is about to begin. Create a life for someone new. Nigerians in China on StarTimes Da Donkoa.
Popular Nigerian singer Simi called out internet fraudsters over the weekend, saying she doesn't need fraudsters to buy her music. A troll reacted to her post, insinuating that her husband, Adekunle Gold, used to help fraudsters, locally referred to as Yahoo Boys, to edit their documents for their dishonest activities. Adekunle Gold has now taken to social media to address the issue, replying the troll that he isn't aware of helping any fraudster edit documents in the past. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be time for sports. Stay with us.
You got goals, you fancy footwork, you mad dribbling skills, you boots.
Most of you guys should know this drill.
You leg over, you raise, you run them, you tip, you tear shot and boom. You football.
That's the Brazilian who, with the longer blades that Oscar wasn't too impressed with. 200 meters, but we must stress, absolutely legal.
Sounds of the surf.
Yeah. Now that he's a hater, I don't want no bad energy. Man get used by radar, but you can't see my enemy.
And this time they are away, and Peacock goes away strongly.
She wants a man from London, she wants a fellow with felonies. That's not you, my team. There's no I in it, I bring it on my team. Just when it's all my team. Even the bounce is bounce when it's all my team. You wanna never know. Don't be a sheep when you can be gold. Great, it's about time and you never know. Don't show up to my show.
This is
Got no
absolutely marvelous.
energy.
And in sports, the Super Falcons of Nigeria took on Canada, the female team, in a friendly encounter as they prepare for the FIFA Women's World Cup, and they lost by 2-1. The Super Falcons took the lead at halftime through Desire Oparanozie, but the world number 5, who are now unbeaten in 6 games, came back strong in the second half to produce the victory. Excellent sports, Frenchman and Newcastle United defender Florian Lejeune is set to miss the rest of the season after he sustained a significant knee injury during Newcastle's loss to Crystal Palace. The 27-year-old was stretchered off after injuring his left knee in a clash with Andros Townsend. Lejeune, who joined the club in 2017, missed the first part of the season with a right knee injury. He has made 12 Premier League appearances for the 15th place Magpies since January. And Newcastle manager Rafa Benitez said the injury looked bad following the 1-0 loss at St. James's Park. And that's it on Sports Update on Plus TV Africa. I'm Udoka Njoku.
Thank you, Joka, and that's a roundup of events at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube page at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. Do join us then, and do have a great day.
First point of accountability is asking questions.
Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. I am Udoka Njoku.
Hi everyone, welcome to Plus Training.
You cannot continue to recycle poverty while you're spending a lot of money on unproductive
ventures.
The government has to feel the impact.
Honorable Commissioner, sir, welcome to the show.
This TV station, Plus TV Africa, is designed to help to create a paradigm shift. But the more we tell our stories, the more we learn from whatever our past mistakes have been.
We can be much more than we are. We should be doing a lot in refineries.
And we are definitely investing in our staff. We're training, we're developing, we're creating the kind of workforce that will be the envy of the international broadcast. The quality of the reportage, the quality of our presentation, the quality of our production will be obvious. We're saying that we want to reach Africans wherever they are and get the message across to them. That's what Plus TV Africa is all about.
Point. We'll talk about that. But we've got Kolawole Fowokemi right here. It's been a long time we saw him. He's here again. I hope he's married now, but he's right here on the show. And there's Samson Oloyede right here on the show. Welcome to the show, guys.
Good morning. Good morning, Udoka. It's been a long while. You're looking very good.
Yeah, there was a question that was thrown.
The question, I don't even know the question. I refuse to know the. I refuse to know the question.
I hope you're married now. You won't answer that question.
I'm not married yet.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right. I mean, this weekend we saw lots of interesting football sports, actually, from tennis as well, and in the world of basketball. I mean, which of them would you say caught your fancy?
Well, I think it's the EPL for obvious reasons. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I was listening to a program on Friday, and somebody actually predicted that Everton was going to defeat Arsenal. And I was like, "Are you crazy?" and it turned out to be so. I think Arsenal were not in their best of form. And I think I just hope it's not the end of season rush that is affecting us now. You know, when the pressure gets to you, you start to craving, and I just hope that, because Arsenal really needs that top four, because Emery came to stabilize the team, and that's why Arsene Wenger was actually sacked, because all 3 seasons in Arsenal he always qualified the team for the top 4, and the season he didn't qualify, the first season he came 5th and won the FA Cup. So they thought that, okay, that maybe in the next season he will qualify, and he came in 6th and didn't win any trophy. So they just had to let him go. And I just hope that Emery will just, even if he's 4th, he should just make sure that he comes 4th, so that at least Arsenal can enjoy the revenue and all that. And
yeah. But we'll get to that point. We're still talking about Arsenal. He said that Arsene Wenger was sacked, but was he really sacked last now, or did Arsene Wenger step aside to let another coach take charge of the club? And whatever position Unai Emery finishes this season, are we going to crucify him for not doing well in the EPL? For me, I think that man has actually done well with Arsenal. But like I said, when we get to that point, we'll talk about Arsenal's performance against Everton and their likely chance of making it to the top 4 this season. Well, let's look at the Nigerian Professional Football League. We saw games over the weekend. Wiki were 2-1 winners over Remo Stars. The result to pop up on your screen. And Rivers United got a 1-0 home win against Niger Tornadoes. Rangers International got a 1-0 victory against Katsina. Kwara were 1-0 winners over MFM. There was also UB and Delta Force playing out a goalless draw. Enyimba against Bendel Insurance. That game ended in a goalless affair. And Agoran FC defeated Abia by 1-0. And Nasarawa United defeated FC Fanyoba by 1-0. Plateau United and Heartland settled for a goalless draw. Kano Pillars defeated El Kanemi Warriors 2-1. And Aqua United defeated Gombe by 2-0. I mean, something. Enyimba at home, they couldn't defeat Bendel Insurance. Yobe and Delta, well, we can understand that game, but it was more of Enyimba. They needed that point, but they couldn't just get all 3 points.
Yeah, and it was shocking. Shocking because Enyimba at home, you expect them to have, maximized the home support and, claim all 3 points. I think it was disappointing with the way they even set up to start with, how much more, converting the chances that came their way. And this may just end up biting them, because you look at how the table is right now, you feel that they needed all 3 points to really make a push for, for the top 4.
Very true. And talking about the table, we know that Aqua United top Group B and MFM are still staying stronger in that one. You get to see the lineup of the table. And for MFM, well, they lost that game against Kwara United, but it's looking likely that they just might finish. It depends on what happens in the subsequent results.
That table is a funny one. If you look at MFM have 14 points.
Okay. But this is actually settled now. Group B is settled.
Group B is settled.
They're all settled on 14 points.
Aqua United, without Unfon Udo yesterday, were able to win by 2 goals to nothing. It shows you that even without their top goal scorer and the league's top goal scorer, they can still get things going for them. Now they've played 14 games, 25 points, locked up there with El Kanemi Warriors, just inferior on goal difference. El Kanemi as well 25. You look at Ifeanyi Uba, 14 games as well 24. So Group B is very competitive. All teams have played 14 games. And, you can see what the table looks like. From the 1st to the 4th, that's Aqua United to Kano Pillars, is just a 2 points difference, 25-23. So a loss of a game, a draw, and then the table changes, positions changes. But unlike Group B, Group A is, a bit, I won't say competitive, but it's a bit funny, so to speak, because Rivers United are second in Group A, and they've played only 11 matches. Rangers, rather, I beg your pardon. Rangers, they've played 10, rather, 21 points. They're just 2 points behind MFM. And MFM have played 4 games. You can rest assured Rangers win at least 2 of their 4 outstanding games. And that's 6 points. So they'll probably have 27 points. They'll definitely topple MFM at some point. And you have teams like Rivers United who still have an outstanding. There's Lobby Stars there who still has 3 games outstanding as well. Lobby Stars can win 2 of those 3 and also shoot right there to the top 2, top 3. So the table for Group A is not certain. And the likes of MFM, Enyimba can't afford to drop points at this stage because they've played more games than their rivals like Rangers and Lobby Stars, who you expect to make a push going forward. So I think for Enyimba yesterday it was disappointing. For MFM as well, I mean, it's Kwara United, 8 points.
And one thing about MFM, I want to also buttress on the point of MFM. I think that MFM, I think they've overrun their luck. Yes, they've done very well this season. Remember that in the off-season they had to let a lot of their big players go, and they brought in a lot of rookies, I would say. And yes, the coach has done a fantastic job. But one question still begs the differ that MFM have played most of their games at home, or most of their matches, at least like 60%, they played at home, and yes, they've maximized the points. Now the point is that when they go away from home, how do they perform? They've not really performed so well, and that's where the worry is for the average MFM fan. That yes, when they go away, they need to start picking up some of these points because you know how the Nigerian Premier League is set up. It's points that you pick away from home that actually goes to show how far to show how far you get to the table. So I think that MFM should work on their way form.
And look how quickly 14 games have been played thus far, apart from teams that have outstanding. It's an abridged version of the season. So you have 12 teams in a group, and that means each team will play 22 games. So what it means is we have 8 games left. We know the way it is during this crunch period. 8 games left. MFM, as I said, has played most of their matches at home. Now they'll be going away. Probably the next 8, 5 will be away from home. How would they fare? How they fare in those games would definitely determine if they finish in top 4.
Very true. How they fare in those games will determine how they'll finish and if they will finish in the top 4. Looking forward to that one. And for the Nigerian Professional Football League, yes, we have 8 games remaining, but some teams still have as much as 12 games remaining to play in the league. So it will be a determinant to how the season will end for them. Still talking about the local front, let's talk about one man who is considered a legend in the Nigerian football, talking about Christian Chukwu. He's called chairman. And my question is, why do we have to wait until something goes very bad for probably ex-internationals, ex-coaches, whoever has done well in the Nigerian football scene? Why do we have to wait until things go totally bad for these people before there's a voice?
I think that's the way. I think that's the way our country is.
But it shouldn't be.
Unfortunately, so. And it's not just about football. That's just the way it is in all spheres of life. I mean, it's more like the government just leaves you to yourself. And but it's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. It's very, very, very sad.
For the former Super Eagles captain, Christian Chukwu,
okay.
he has been diagnosed of an ailment which has not been confirmed yet. And word coming up from the NFF, they said that they have vowed to support Christian Chukwu. And he captained the famous Enugu Rangers International and the Nigerian national team in the 1990s and the early 1980s. And he needs a different type of support, which is a financial support. We hear it's about $50,000 to revive him. And from one of the reports I actually got, someone said that he interviewed him last month and it looked like he was healthy. He was actually walking, he even drove his car, but he's wondering. And Rangers International, there was also rumor that Rangers International abandoned him, but they came out to say that they debunked that rumor, saying that they never abandoned Christian Chukwu. You know, instances like this, what you really find out is it's difficult to say help didn't come or there were no voices until it got to probably a deteriorating state. Because most times you realize that these ailments or issues are kept under the wraps until it gets worse before it pops out. No one, in quote, really knew about Rashidi Ekine's, mental health until it got worse. So these things happen. Now, as you said, he was reportedly seen last month, driving, still looked good. The same thing with Taiwo Ogunjobi, who we lost some 2 months ago. Taiwo Ogunjobi was at a football match 2-3 days before his death. So sometimes even the victims do not know they are going through certain, illnesses, so to speak. And that's probably due to lack of proper and consistent medical checkups, amongst other things. And he could be aware of the situation, but he was just trying to manage it within his own sphere, And when he realized he needed more help, he needed to reach out to people, that was when he came out. So you really can't blame the government for neglecting them, so to speak, because it's what that it's, issues like this that you know about that you can decide to help. If you don't know about it, you won't be able to help. We didn't also hear about it until just, yesterday night. So it's an unfortunate one. We reports have it that $3,000 has been raised thus far. It's still a long shot from the $50,000 needed. But we just hope that he gets the needed financial assistance and then it gets the good health back. Very true. And for the NFF president, Amadou Pinnick, he said that he's not in the country at the moment, but has told his vice to actually take charge, talking about Barrister Sheyi Akinwumi, to take charge and see to the situation. But I'm sure the NFF will surely put hands on deck to try and get Christian Chukwu, the chairman, back to his legs. We're going to talk about the state of the national stadium, but I've not confirmed the reports until I confirm that, then we can actually talk about it. But let's take a break and go straight to the La Liga, where we saw Barcelona as they tore Atletico Madrid apart in 2 quick goals, and Diego Costa got a red card. And for Real Madrid, they had to bounce back from the dead to defeat Eibar by 2-1. Enjoy the highlights.
Eibar would have the better of the things in the opening 45 minutes in the Santiago Bernabeu. And indeed, they took the lead when Gonzalo Escalante picked out Marc Cardona at the far post. And the player who'd been called into the starting 11 late on following the injury in the warm-up to Pedro Leon made it 1-0 to Los Armeros. But after the break, a change forced upon Eibar at the back allowed Real Madrid more space, and Karim Benzema took advantage of it, meeting Asensio's cross to draw Los Blancos level 59 minutes in. Toni Kroos then came off the bench and provided the centre. Benzema provided another header, rising at the far post to beat Dimitrovic. And the number 9 could have had his hat-trick. Lucas Vázquez coming on as a substitute, rolling it back into his path. But on this occasion, Dimitrovic making the save. And then the goalkeeper palmed the ball down. Lucas rolled it into the path of the Real Madrid striker. In the closing moments, the match ball almost went home with Benzema. Final score, Real Madrid 2, Eibar 1. Barcelona and Atletico de Madrid knew what was at stake as they met in Camp Nou. Messi awarded with the Player of the Month award for March before the encounter. The first